Question number 8, Kelvin Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister of Corrections, does she stand by her statement in regards to Corrections' new electronic monitoring bracelets that they are almost impossible for offenders to remove without taking off their leg, quote, so they have a choice, leg or no leg, unquote?
The Honourable Judith Collins.
Yes.
Supplementary.
Order.
Given,
Order. Supplementary question, Kelvin Davis.
Given her previous confidence in the new bracelets, saying that they would need a chainsaw to cut them off, how were they cut through on TV with blunt scissors by Billy Wepu?
The Honourable Judith Collins.
Well, Mr. Speaker, as any competent teacher could tell that member, almost is not the same as definitely.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Kelvin Davis.
So you don't need a chainsaw?
Why will Corrections still be using 1,000 of the new bracelets rather than asking for a refund from the provider, given they have been shown to be a complete failure?
The Honourable Judith Collins.
Well, Mr. Speaker, of course they're not what the members described. In fact, Dan Parker, that very wiry reporter from Newshub, couldn't cut through, and nor could I, Mr. Speaker. But instead, Newshub brought in a brother of an All Black, and he eventually got it through.
So, can the Minister...
Supplementary question, Kelvin Davis.
So, given that answer, can the Minister then assure the public that no offender, many of whom have nothing to do in prison but work out, has the strength of the mighty Billy Wepu?
The Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, the member might not realise that most people who go into prison or who have one of these community sentences don't, in fact, get any sort of electronic monitoring, and he should know that.
Supplementary question, Kelvin Davis.
How much has the Department of Corrections spent to date on the 1,000 new bracelets, and does she think that it is an appropriate amount considering they failed to stand up to the ordinary kitchen scissors test?
The Honourable Judith Collins.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm sure if that member really thought about it, he'd realise that these bracelets are simply one of the tools that Corrections use, and in fact to monitor offenders in the community. And in fact, the cost of these is significantly less than the cost of putting people in prison.
Supplementary.
Order. Order. Supplementary question, Kelvin Davis.
So is the Minister saying that the choice New Zealand faces are A, to acquire sturdier bracelets, or B, for the warehouse to sell blunt scissors?
The Honourable Judith Collins.
No, Mr. Speaker, not at all.
Question number 9.